California Sen. Kamala Harris was absent for more Senate votes in 2019 than all but one of her fellow members of Congress running for president, missing 44.3% of the roll call votes so far this year. Only Sen. Cory Booker of New Jersey missed more votes, according to a Bay Area news group analysis of data from the open government website GovTrack. Booker missed 118 of the 262 votes, while Harris missed 116. Splitting time between campaign events in far-flung primary states and the daily business of Capitol Hill has always been a challenge for senators and representatives running for president, and in an era of crushing congressional gridlock, there's less incentive for White House hopefuls to stick around D.C. Still, missed votes by Harris and her fellow candidates could open them up to attacks from President Trump or other rivals. Most of the issues that have come up for a vote on the chamber's floor this year have been procedural matters or votes to confirm Trump administration judges or appointees. And it appears none of the Democratic candidates would have changed the outcome of votes they missed in the GOP-held Senate. While Harris was stumping at an urban farming nonprofit in Dubuque, Iowa, in June, for example, the Senate voted to move forward with 4 Trump judicial nominations. She was in Columbia, South Carolina at a roundtable with teachers when the Senate approved another half-dozen nominations in April. And she and many of the other candidates missed a vote on a controversial $4.6 billion humanitarian aid package for the border, which took place the day of the first presidential debate in Miami in late June. Overall, the Senate has passed little major substantive legislation in 2019, leading to complaints from senators from both parties. "We have done nothing, zero, zilch, nada," GOP Sen. John Kennedy of Louisiana told reporters earlier this year. And confirmation votes for federal judges and executive branch nominees require only a simple majority of 50 votes to pass, which means Democratic senators wouldn't be able to block Trump's selections even if their entire caucus was present. If voters held the Senate in higher esteem, this might be a higher-profile issue, but blowing off an institution that most people don't respect to begin with is unlikely to move a lot of votes, said Jack Pitney, a politics professor at Claremont McKenna College. The things the Senate is voting on these days are not going to be in the history books. Harris has returned to D.C. to vote on a number of relatively important bills, including the 9/11 First Responders Compensation Fund, a prohibition of unauthorized military action in Iran, and an effort to block U.S. support for the Saudi war in Yemen, although she and other candidates missed an unsuccessful attempt to override Trump's veto of Yemen war resolution last month. He's also attended plenty of hearings, including a grilling of Attorney General Bill Barr in May that won her headlines and social media attention. In one sign of the competing priorities Harris and the other senators face, she cancelled the trip to Iowa in May to vote for a bill that allocated billions of dollars for California wildfire victims and other communities facing natural disasters, prompting complaints from Democratic activists in the Hawkeye state, and leading one local official to rescind his endorsement of her. Harris's office declined to comment on her attendance record, and Booker's office did not respond to a request for comment. The candidates' records aren't that far out of line with past presidential contenders. In 2015, for example, Senator Marco Rubio of Florida missed 35.4% of votes as he competed in the 2016 presidential election. Rubio's absences became a campaign issue that year, with then-candidate Donald Trump blasting him for not doing his job as senator. But the members of Congress running for president this year haven't faced similar attacks so far. Alex Conant, a GOP strategist and Rubio's former communications director, said he didn't think attacks over missed votes were especially effective. "We never saw any evidence that it was hurting us with actual voters in Iowa and New Hampshire," Conant said. but it can be an awkward distraction, because you want to be talking about your agenda and your record, and instead you're having to take time to talk about why you're not doing the job you were elected to do. In 2018, Harris had one of the best attendance records in the Senate, missing only 0.3% of votes. Among other presidential contenders, since Bernie Sanders and Kirsten Gillibrand both missed 40.1% of the Senate's votes in 2019, while Elizabeth Warren missed 28.2%. In the House of Representatives, East Bay Rep. Eric Swalwell was the top truant of the presidential contenders, missing 39.7% of votes this year. A large percentage of his 204 absences came over 2 days in June when Republicans forced dozens of roll call votes on amendments to a spending bill. Swalwell has had a perfect attendance record since he dropped out of the presidential race last month. The White House contenders with the best voting attendance records have been Rep. Seth Moulton of Massachusetts, who's only missed 16.3% of votes this year, and Senator Amy Klobuchar of Minnesota, who's missed 22.9%. Ray Lopez Calderon, the executive director of Good Government Group California Common Cause, said he thought Harris should attend more votes, although he argued the bigger issue was how the U.S. election system forces politicians to spend so much time campaigning instead of governing. She has a duty to make sure she's representing her constituents, Lopez Calderon said. But I'd also be interested to know how many days Trump is spending on the golf course. Let's block ads. Why?